Hello and welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here with me. Welcome to another DIY video. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe and join this creative squad. And now, let's get started with our 3 spring farmhouse decor ideas. For DIY number 1, I'm taking this Dollar Tree sign and it has 2 eggs, a bunny, and a little cheek, and I think it's really cute. I'm only going to be using the 2 eggs and the bunny, and I will put the other 2 to the side. And as you can see, I took it apart, and now I'm gonna take the 2 eggs and I'm peeling off that top layer they have, like the burlap fabric, and then I'm gonna grab a sanding block and I'm gonna sand that down just so it's not bumpy when I go to paint it. Once that is ready, I'm gonna take this tile stickers that I had for a long time and I wasn't sure what to do with them, and I'm gonna trace my eggs on there. And once I have them traced, I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut those off. And now it's time to put these 2 pieces together. I'm gonna start with the first one and removing the sticker off of this, and I will be using hot glue. And I was worried it was gonna look bumpy, but once I put it on there, immediately put the sticker on there and kind of try to smooth it with my fingers, and it was totally fine. As a side note, I did try it with just this sticker and it did not help, so you do need some kind of adhesive to make sure that stays in place. Okay, now I'm gonna grab my Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to be painting both of these little eggs, and I also paint the edges just to make sure everything look nice and clean. Okay, so I had this scrap piece of wood and I just took it. It's a foot long and it worked perfectly for this project, so I took it and stained it. The information is in the description box. And now I'm going to take my Waverly antique wax and I'm going to distress these cute eggs. Okay, so originally I was gonna use this cute bunny how it is because it's so cute and I really wanted this to work really bad, but I think it was too colorful. So right there, we are still okay. We're still using this bunny. I think I can make it work. So I start by taking my first egg and I add some glue at the bottom. I also grab a Jenga block and add some hot glue, and that is going to be for extra support for this egg and make sure that it stays in place. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the second egg. Here is where I come in with the bunny, and I was about to glue it and I was like, I just don't think I like this. Like, I think it's too colorful for what I'm going for. So here is where the plans change. I took some Waverly chalk paint and I basically paint this whole bunny white. I painted front and back and I was like, we're just gonna do it. And now I took some of my brown chalk paint and start painting the edges. I am trying to get this bunny to get distress, but not too distressed, if you know what I mean. I feel like the eggs were already distressed enough and I really wanted this bunny to pop out with some more white. So I go in on the edges and then I go in there with the Waverly antique wax and just do the tiniest bit on there, and I think it looks really cool. Now I took some of this twine and I'm making a pom-pom. So I wrapped it on my fingers and then I grabbed an extra piece, and then I tie it on there. I cut the edges. I kind of go in or go back in there and kind of trim the edges to make sure everything is going to be even once we fluff up this little pom-pom, and then I just rub it on my hands and magic happens. This gets so fluffy and it actually looks like a little tail. And so after I have it ready, I just glue it back in there. Now I am happy with this bunny. It's time to put everything together. I add some hot glue at the bottom, and honestly that little tail helps cover up the Jenga block on the back. As you can see, I'm adding the Jenga block the exact same way, and we are done. And here is a picture of the end result. I think this looks so cute, so neutral, and I love it. For this DIY, you're gonna need a pack of the square planks from the Dollar Tree. And now I am going to take my first one, and this is going to be the front. And so I'm gonna need one for the front, one for the back. So I'm gonna trim the front into a triangle, I guess. That's the best I can explain it. You know how good I am at explaining things. But anyway, so I take my ruler and I figure out exactly where I need to cut, and I just go for it. As you can see, my math did not do so well. I was like, well, this is kind of crooked, so I just went back in there and fixed it and figured out the error, and now we're good to go. So I marked the first two. Now for the second one, it just needs to be cut down so it matches the side of the house, so when we go to put this together, it looks nice and even. And I marked exactly where I need to cut, and I take it outside and use my hacksaw to cut them off. Here are my 4 pieces, and at this point I hadn't realized I kind of needed a roof, so I will go back in there later. Okay, so I took my sanding block and kind of just sanded the edges to make them smoother. Now it's time to put this house together. So I start with the front, or I guess back, it could be either way, and took one of the sides, glued that down. I take the other one, add some hot glue, and put that there. And then now it's time for the last one. So I'm gonna put the other piece on the back, and that is that. And at this point, I'm sure I already realized I need a roof. So I take 2 more pieces, and I take my house and I kind of just place it on top just to see exactly where the roof would be. I mark with a pencil, and then I take my ruler and measure with that, and it seems like I did okay. So I thought, you'll see in a second that it did not do really good. But so once I had my 2 pieces, I took them outside and cut them off with the hacksaw. Now I'm going to add some hot glue on there, and I will be placing my first piece of the roof on top. And now I'm just going to try and adjust this as the best as I can. So when I go with my second piece, everything is nice and clean, and you will see that the top is kind of way too high up for me. So it was bothering me, and also the sides were kind of sticking out. So I go outside and grab my electric sander and sand that down because it was bothering me, but that would be up to you. Okay, now I'm gonna grab 2 of these little pieces from these brain puzzles or whatever, and that is going to be part of my roof. So I took and removed the little wooden dowels that they have sticking out, and I sand that down just to make sure everything's even. Now I'm gonna take both of them, and I will be adding some hot glue and gluing those 2 on the side. And as you can see, it will be missing the middle part, and it's fine because I do go in and grab one of the tiny wooden squares that the Dollar Tree sells, and I literally cut that in half. It was kind of hard to do, but that was the only thing I could find to cover this up. So that's what I did, and I glued that down, and there you have it. It's not perfect, but we will cover that up later. Okay, so I found these 2 wooden boxes at the Dollar Tree, and I was so happy that I found them and that I grabbed 2 of them because they worked out perfect for this project. So I grabbed my stain, and yes, you guessed it, we are going to stain both the boxes and the house, and I will be right back. Once the stain dries, I'm going to take this masking tape and cover up the parts that could get white paint on them because we are going to paint the front, what is that called? Siding, I guess. And so I'm going to take that and then cover that up. Once that is covered, I'm taking my white chalk paint and I'm going to be painting that. And now it's time to remove the tape and reveal our house, and I love how this is looking. Now it's time to put all the 3 pieces together. So I find exactly where I want my boxes to sit. Mine, I'm doing them in the middle. So I took some hot glue and glued them into place. If I could give any advice, I would say cut the house as high or low, I guess, as the boxes so they're all even, but for me it was fine. I still love them. So I found these really cute pics at Walmart. I shared them on my Instagram the other day, and so as always I took all of them apart because if I put them how they come, they would be too high. So I trim them, and then I just start arranging these boxes, and I love these colors. I really love how this little house turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Okay, now I'm gonna take this that spells family. The Dollar Tree carries these now, and I actually picked up different ones, but I thought that this one would go great with this little house. So I'm gonna take my Waverly chalk paint and I'm gonna paint it, because otherwise if I just glue it like that, it's just gonna get lost. But anyway, I'm gonna finish painting this, and then once it's done, I'm gonna grab my little house, and now it's time to put this on the house. So I grabbed some hot glue and I am going to be placing it on my house. And at this point, that little square on the tip of this house was still bothering me, so I made a tiny wreath to cover that up, and that made me so much happier. And now here is a picture of the end result. I love how this house turned out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. For this DIY, I'm taking this Happy Easter Bunny sign as well as this other bigger sign, and I'm removing the metal bunny that this sign has. Now I am going to be taking my bunny and placing it on top just to see if it's going to fit, and it ends up being a little bit too big, so I take my scissors and trim down the bottom. Now that it's perfect, I take my sanding block and I'm trying to remove the glitter. Now I was like, let's just do it faster and take my electric sander. And let's say I went a little bit too crazy. I sent it a little bit too much, but it's totally fine. You don't have to do this. I don't know what happened. And moving on, so I'm gonna grab these glass gems, and I saw Hey Y'all Let's DIY do this, and I just wanted to do something with them as well because I really thought it was super cool. So I take some of these and I start placing them around this frame, and I just try to find the ones that are around the same size, try to placing them. Once I have them ready, now I take my little bunny and I just kind of see exactly where it would be sitting, and as you can see, the ear kind of sticks out a little bit, but it's fine. I still think it looks amazing. Now as you can see, now I'm gluing my little beads into place, and I'm using hot glue for this, and it works out really good. Here is my last bead. This is what it looks like. One more try. I don't know why, but let's just try it. Now that I have them, I'm gonna take this acrylic paint and I'm going to start painting my frame with this. The info on the color is going to be in the description box, and I'm just gonna go in, give it a layer. I actually end up giving it 2 layers of paint to cover up everything. And once you get to the beads, you will for sure know that you need a second layer of paint because they don't get painted completely with one layer. I guess with the strokes and stuff, like, you will remove some of the paint, so you will have to go in with a second layer unless that's the look you're going for, which that's totally fine. You do you, because creativity has no boundaries. But anyway, let's go back to this. As you can see on the edges, I'm just gonna push it in the paint just to make sure that those get painted as well and everything looks nice and clean. But anyway, so I'm just gonna let you watch. While my frame dries, I'm gonna take my metal bunny and I'm removing the bow, and I wanted to give my bunny a little tail, so I grabbed some yarn and create a really cute pom-pom out of it. I did it exactly how I did it on my first DIY. And now for the bow, I wanted to give my bow layers, so I had this raffia and I just tied this cutesy bow just how you would tie your shoes. And now I'm gonna glue both of these together, and I add a piece to tie them together in the middle, and that is all I did, and I really like this look. Now I'm gonna glue my tail, and how cute is this bunny? And now I'm gonna grab my antique wax from Waverly, and I'm going to start distressing. I will start with the beads and the side, and I will leave the middle till the end, because if you know and you've seen my videos, I've struggled before where I add wax and then it's really hard to glue things on top of it. Thanks to one of my subscribers, she made me realize that, and so thank you for telling me that, because otherwise I would have still be doing that till this day. But anyway, so I'm distressing. Now that that is completed, I'm gonna take my cutesy bunny and I'm going to add glue. Now it's time to place it in this frame, and I'm just trying to see exactly where it needs to go, kind of put it in the middle. How cute is this frame looking? Now it's time to start distressing, and I really love how cute and simple this looks, and it looks very farmhouse if you ask me. Now look at how beautiful that frame is looking. It's perfect the way it is, but I wanted to add a bow to mine, so I take this chevron white ribbon that I found at the Dollar Tree, as well as this other plain burlap ribbon, and I cut a strip off of the burlap one, and I just cinch it, tie it the middle with this, and that is as simple as that. Now all I'm gonna do is dovetail the ends And now all that's left is to glue it in place. So I'm gonna add some hot glue, glue it right in the middle, and that completes this really beautiful frame. And here is the end result. I love how all of these turned out. I cannot pick a favorite. They're all my favorite. But you leave a comment down below letting me know which one was your favorite. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And I will see you on my next DIY. Bye!